Oh. Oh. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmiham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Hari Om. We have been seeing the portion of Nididhyasanam where the sadhaka, having heard about the Phalashruti, the final result that one gets after studying Vedanta, after knowing the truth, sadhaka feels, I don't see that result in myself yet. And one of the main reasons for us not being able to see the result of this knowledge is either our previous preparation is not sufficient before we have come to study Vedanta. Whatever sadhana chatushtaya we saw, the parameters, if you put it, you see, those are not up to the mark. So now, after studying Vedanta, we have to put extra effort to make sure that we can absorb this knowledge and make it one with ourselves. The process of doing that is called as Nididhyasanam. It is said for an Uttama Adhikari, the student who is very well qualified, knowledge takes place only by Shravanam. If somebody has understood the nature of pramana, how valid means of knowledge operates, say just by Shravanam, if the mind is pure, knowledge will take place. And there is no point in trying to cover this fact that my sadhana chatushtaya is lacking, because we won't benefit just by doing that. So best way is to honestly look at what are our shortcomings, put forth effort through our sadhana also, take up something. Last time there was a question, right? How to have a good routine. Take a very small sadhana, but doing it consistently. And then try to do Vedanta Shravanam again and supplement it with Nididhyasanam. So Shravanam, listening to the teaching, closing the book for some time and just contemplating on those words, trying to see if they are speaking to me or not. There is a example that is given. In a mathematics book, whenever there is a question given, right? Prove left hand side equals to right hand side or whatever, find x. They give that question. Now, what is the value of x at the back of the book, there is a direct answer also given. Now, if somebody just looks at that answer and writes, the value of x is so and so, that person will never learn mathematics. In the same way, the qualities of Brahman, what we saw, right? Nirguna, Nishkriya, Nirvikalpa. Now, directly, somebody can just keep repeating it. Just like that boy saw the answer and directly wrote it. We can also just keep repeating it. But that by itself will not help us. It might quieten the mind, but it will not remove ignorance. For ignorance, we need clear knowledge, and clarity of knowledge comes by mananam. Whichever study groups you are attending, whoever we have as our satsangis, sometimes we should take such topics and see if we can just recap whatever we have studied in the class. That portion itself will give a great joy. And if nobody else is available, speak to our own mind. Right? How am I nirguna? That elaboration will be called as mananam. That alone will become as nididhyasanam. Mananam will help remove those doubts which are there. And natural progression of doubtless knowledge is abidance. So that is this portion of nididhyasanam. And then different examples Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is bringing, where he said, meditate upon yourself as space. Right? Verse number 35 we saw. What is the nature of space? Sada sarva samaha. It is the same in all. Shuddha, it is pure, and it is nissangaha, unattached it is. Now somebody might have a question here. Does studying Vedanta and knowing nature of Atman to be sarva samaha, nissangaha, make a person very insensitive? Does studying Vedanta in this way, does it make a person insensitive towards what is going around, the situation that we are in right now? First and foremost, our pramana of how this knowledge has worked in anybody's life is our Mahatmas. So we should look at their life and then first see whether they looked that way. Were they insensitive? Not at all. In fact, they looked upon everybody and everybody else's sorrow just as it was their own. So when it comes to Vyavahara, this is also a point that we should note, that if one has understood oneself as Nirguna, for Vyavahara they can take any Sadguna. And because sadhanas are done, Sadgunas come naturally to this sadhaka. Knowledge is, I am Nirguna, but Vyavahara is through Sadgunas. Vyavahara cannot be at Paramartha level. Means Vyavahara cannot have Advaitam. Vyavahara will have Dvaitam. Knowledge is to know that this entire Dvaita Prapancha is appearing in Advaita Brahma, which is me. Okay, so that is the way of dwelling more on this teaching and appreciating the depth of it, at the same time knowing how to apply it, right, in our daily life. And different qualities, you will find whatever is the quality of Brahma, that alone reflects in the Sadgunas. For example, this Sarva Samaha, right? Brahman is Sarva Samaha. It accommodates everybody. Just like our Lord Shiva. Pashupati he is, No matter which thought, which situation, which person, which personality, everything Bhagwan accommodates. So consciousness is of this nature. So my mind should also become of the same nature. Means it should become all accommodating. Okay, so this is one way to look at it. Now Bhagwan is telling us what is the result of Nididhyasanam. Very nice example he takes, and he is trying to explain what is the result of this meditation practice, how it should be done. In the next few verses, he will elaborate this point. 37th verse. Evam nirantarabhyasta brahmaivasmiti vasana haratya vidya vikshepan roga nivarasayanam evam nirantarabhyasta brahmaivasmiti vasanam haratya vidya vikshepan roga nivarasayanam. Now this sadhaka has started doing meditation practice. So he's asking Bhagwan as though, Bhagwan, do you have some guidance? How should I do it? How long should I do it? And in what way should I do it? So first advice Bhagwan says, Evam nirantarabhyasta. This meditation practice has to be done. Antara means with a break. Nirantara means without a break. Continuously it has to be practiced. And many a times we realize our day becomes so busy, so many things come, especially at that time when I have marked for Nididhyasana. One option is reduce the time but don't skip. Let us say somebody does half an hour every day. On a busy day, do it for 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And once this practice has been created, even 10 minutes is sufficient to make up for that day. Another option is even if we miss at the decided time, trying to do it at some other time. Mean taking up some niyama that I won't go to sleep unless I do 10 minutes of Nididhyasana. Minimum, huh? Now that sometimes it keeps coming less and less. So, evam nirantarabhyasta. This is a guidance given in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Satu dirgha kala. How long we should meditate? He said dirgha kala, for a long time. Nairantarya, same word is here. Long time and continuously. And another word is satkara sevita, with lot of reverence and value in this sadhana. That Nididhyasanam, if I do sincerely, I don't have to worry about whether it will give a result or not. Means I have that much faith in my teachers. If they have told this practice, Bhagwan Krishna has emphasized on this practice. He has devoted one whole chapter out of 18 chapters. So that itself shows the importance of this. So do it with that Shraddha. And wherever we have Shraddha, for that thing we will find time. Wherever we have Mahatva Buddhi, right? We give importance to that thing. It is a law that we will find time for that. And we all have different things that we give importance to. And for that, we are able to carve out time also. We should add this also in that list. Nididhyasanam. And what will happen with all of this? He said, Drudha Bhumihi will happen. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, means this knowledge will start settling down in this sadhaka. What happened before coming to Vedanta is that this sadhaka has not taken care of other vasanas. And they are constantly interfering with this knowledge now. Vedanta has told me I am Brahma. And my Purva Vasana are telling me you are a person. You are a man, woman, some role associated with that. And I'm just not able to let go of my previous role, previous Vasana that I have built so strongly. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya is saying that Vasana did not come overnight. You worked hard to get that Vasana. In the same way, work hard not for Vishaya Vasana, but another Vasana that is called as Brahma Eva Aham Asmi. This Vasana you create now. Only difference is, somebody might ask, right? What is the difference between Brahma Vasana and other Vasana, Vishaya Vasana? He said Brahma Vasana is Pramanajanya. Upanishads are saying, I am Brahma. I can confidently go ahead and create it. Now, nobody has told me about Vishayas giving Sukham. It was still, but I still went and brought in those Vishayas and again created those Vasanas. So, to undo them as though, because they are bothering so much in Vyavahara, he said this Brahma Vasana will help as an antidote. I mean, just like you created that thought and that is again and again coming during your Vyavahara, if you do this Aham Brahmasmi Nididhyasanam, that also will come back in your Vyavahara. And Jivan Mukti Ananda is only from the context of Vyavahara. In knowledge, there is no. Knowledge is what? I am Nitya Mukta. Right? So then what is Jivan Mukti? Jivan Mukti is how does this knowledge reflect in my Vyavahara? So for that, one of the main antidote is Nididhyasanam, where Bhagavan says, we will be able to own up, I am Brahma as my fundamental identity. When we wake up in the morning, what is the first thought that crosses our mind? My first thought is I have to look at my phone. We say if that thought can be replaced by Aham Brahmasmi, that means it has started seeping in our subconscious mind also. That is this process of Nididhyasanam. Now somebody asks, is it hypnotizing yourself again and again? This we had seen earlier also, that it is dehypnotizing. Currently I am hypnotized that I am this person, this individual. And what is true knowledge? True knowledge is to know I am unconditioned and I am pure consciousness. And another thing we should be careful here, Vedanta is not intending to say that just by creating this vasanas, I will burn all my previous, vasanas that are there. It will to some extent, but true knowledge is to know that I am Brahma and I am unaffected by vasanas. Where are vasanas? Are they in Brahma or are they in Karana Sharira or Sukshma Sharira you call? He said they are in Anatma. So if they are in Anatma, who am I? I am Atma. So then I am unaffected by vasanas. So I am Brahma, that vasana you strengthen more and more. And through sadhanas, through other alert living, alert vyavahara, those other interfering vasanas that we should try to reduce. Now, what is the example or what does this practice do? Bhagavan says, Harati avidya vikshepan. This practice of Nididhyasanam takes away avidya. How does it take away? Because the same what I have done in Shravanam, the same thing I am repeating in Nididhyasanam. Meditation by itself cannot create knowledge. If I have thoroughly heard something, that I can meditate upon. If I have no doubts in it, I have understood something, but mind is going here and there. So that you bring it in one place and just focus on that point. So in that way, avidya will go away. Harati avidya vikshepan. Means chitta vikshepa is so much. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, in one of the commentary, it is written, if I can keep my attention on one thing for 12 seconds, he said that is called as concentration. Meaning what? Even 12 seconds becomes difficult. So this is that practice of bringing our mind to one place, and we can take help of prana vikshanam. Just be alert about breathing in the beginning. So at least that mind which is flying all around, that bird comes back to these pranas. And from there, when mind is relatively quiet, then start Vedanta Vichara. Now it's a beautiful example. He says, meditation will take away chitta vikshepa, mental agitations, and it will take away avidya. Just like medicine takes away a disease. Rogan iva rasayanam. Rasayanam means medicine. How that takes away the purpose, for which it has been given, whatever that disease is. He says, in the same way, Nididhyasanam will take away these roga. What are the roga? Avidya and chitta vikshepa. And just like we have to take medicine with lot of shraddha, right? If you directly start by saying, I want to ask somebody else, he said that medicine itself will not work. And we have to take it for the prescribed amount of time. And we have to take it at regular intervals. Means I cannot say, I will decide when I have to take the medicine. Doctor will decide. Right? Morning, afternoon, evening. So Nididhyasanam also is different duration for different people. And according to our stamina, according to the ability of this body to handle things, medicines are given. So Nididhyasanam duration is also like that. How long one can sit, how deep one can sit. All of that depends upon our spiritual stamina. When Gurudev used to study with Taponji Maharaj, it is said Taponji Maharaj would not come out of his kutia for 2 days. Because he did not feel like coming out. His mind was so much absorbed in Nididhyasanam, 2 days, he would not step out of his kutia. So that is their, spiritual stamina. If we can get Lavalesha, right? Lavalesha means a tiny bit of it. Our life is done. Means even if we get Mahatva Buddhi for Nididhyasanam, if we are able to sit in one place for longer duration, our job is done. For Bhagwan Ramchandra ji, one of the upama, one of the example given is Samudram eva Gambhiryam. Means his personality is such that he is deep like the ocean. There is depth in his personality. Situations cannot just bother him just like that. His face also is such, very equanimous. When somebody gives a good news, he doesn't, get too elated. And other news also not too depressed. He said this ability to have such a personality, how did it come? He said Bhagwan had teaching of Yoga Vasishta. And Yoga Vasishta, the main sadhana emphasized in addition to Tattva Jnanam is Nididhyasanam. And it is a very well-known fact. This mind which has this samskara of nididhyasanam, and it is doing its sadhana, doing shravanam, on the right path, striving, maybe not perfect, but on the right path. The vulnerability of this mind is lower. Means what would have taken me, let us say, half a day or even few hours to get agitated, right? We also feel many a time that way. Morning hours are okay, meditation is done, everything is done. Moment I go out of the class, out of satsang, moment I join my everyday routine, mind again becomes agitated. But that mind which has done sadhana, which has done this nididhyasanam, will get gambhirya. It will get depth in it. And ideally, that duration will be longer. Means that duration in which it was getting disturbed, if it was within 2 hours, it will become longer, 6 hours, maybe a day. And in the evening, you again have another session according to the climatic condition of the mind. Last class we had seen, I can do nididhyasanam only if mind is in Satya Yuga. If it is in Kali Yuga, then it will be wrong sadhana. So at that time, we have sufficient sadhanas to bring the mind back into Dwapar Yuga, puja, japa, bhajan, bring it again into Treta Yuga, and then finally appreciate the time when it is in Satya Yuga. Okay, so that is this portion of regular practice for a long duration. Means we should not say, oh, I just started meditation. How long ago? Last week. But I don't see any result. Say, give ourselves sufficient time, sufficient number of years. Before that, not start celebrating anything, even if we see some change in our personality. Whenever we see that, we should say, Bhagwan, it is your anugraha. And if we start celebrating, then Bhagwan, gives us the teaching in the right way. So now the same topic is continued. Bhagwan gives now more detailed tips. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Krishna doesn't take anything for granted. Meditation practice, he says how to sit, where to sit, everything he elaborates. Now in one shloka, Bhagwan is elaborating this practice of meditation. Vivikta desha asinaha, Vivikta desha asinaha, Virago vijitendriyaha, Virago vijitendriyaha, Bhavayedekamatmanam, Bhavayedekamatmanam, Tamanantamananyadhihi, Tamanantamananyadhihi, Vivikta desha asinaha, Virago vijitendriyaha, Bhavayedekamatmanam, Tamanantamananyadhihi. Now somebody might ask, why do I need a particular place and time and so many things to meditate? Can't I meditate just, walking, talking in a very, why do I need to sit and meditate? Can't I lie down and meditate? Different types of ideas are there about meditation. All of them are valid. In Panchadashi, Nididhyasanam is described as Tat Chintanam, Tat Kathanam, Anyonyam, Tat Prabodhanam. Thinking about the truth, speaking about the truth, discussing about the truth with each other, that itself is Nididhyasanam. In that way, it is given. But we realize it is not easy to start with at that level. Somebody whose mind has this samskaras ripened, they can directly go to that. So for sadhakas who are beginning this practice, it is very helpful to cultivate the qualities of Brahman outside first. In the surroundings, everything should be conducive and should reflect what is the nature of Brahma. Means Brahma is Shanta Swarupa. Start with a Shanta surrounding. Brahma is Ekam. Ekam eva Advitiyam. So start with finding that Vivikta Desha. That is where I wanted to come. See the first word, Vivikta Deshe Asina. Vivikta means what? A solitary place where there are not too many people around. And you'll notice if you sit for meditation with somebody, maybe facing them, it's very difficult to meditate. Mind is constantly thinking, what is that other person thinking about me? And you open your eyes slowly, that person also opens at the same time. So best way is sit in a solitary place. Another meaning of Vivikta is Pavitra. Brahman is Nirmala, ever pure. Our surrounding also should be pure. In that place should not have too many clutter around. That sanctity of that place should be maintained. And there is a lot of science behind this. Mind has its way of tuning with a particular place. So if I use that same place for the same thing every day, then my mind effortlessly gets tuned to that vibration. So if it has sat down for Nididhyasanam in that place, now mind knows what you are going to do, and it ideally should obey easily. So that is Pavitra. And Vivikta also means that which has been carefully chosen. Okay, Viveka, that which dhatu it is. So choose a place carefully. Let it be without too many people around, and let it be a pure place, Pavitra. And we always have this option. Because many a times, if somebody says, I'm living with so many people, I don't have a place where I can sit by myself. Although it's very difficult or very rare to be in this situation. But let us say if somebody has that, it is said wake up early. Before others are awake, you finish your Nididhyasanam. And Asinaha. Posture has a lot of impact on our Nididhyasanam. And this becomes even more critical for those who are doing longer Nididhyasanam. Means longer sessions of meditation. If you are in a posture which is uncomfortable or which can make you to go to sleep, that posture will be, you cannot hold it for a long time. Ideally, we should not take any support. The moment you touch your back to a support, sleep comes. Brahma is Swe Mahimni Pratishtita, right? Without any, it is Nirashraya, Ashraya of everything. But more practically, it is said, sit with a straight back in one straight line. Viragaha Vijitendriyaha. Now these are internal preparations. Outside is Pavitra and so on. Now it is internal preparation. Viragaha is the name of this meditator. Not that this meditator has Vairagya. He said it should become, it is too much to ask from us, to begin with. But just like how Parvati ji we saw, right? It was not that Parvati ji was doing tapasya. She was embodiment of tapasya. Tapasya took a physical form. That is how it looked when Saptarishis go to meet Parvati ji. But over here, Viragaha means, at least during that time, I should wear only one hat, and that is of a sadhaka. this sadhaka who wants to know the truth, sincere sadhaka, that is who I am. All identities, all roles can wait for some time. So that is viragaha, no other agenda, no other goals. Having lot of mahatva buddhi for this spiritual knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, all sankalpa we should give up. Sankalpa meaning, having done this, everything will be okay. Or by doing this, I will be happy. That sankalpas, whichever we have gathered for ourselves, those sankalpas we should keep away. Through vichara only, that after finishing that sankalpa, nothing significant has happened. Let it stay there. This is more important now. And if you notice, if this thought is not very strong, our mind can make us get up from nididhyasanam in few minutes. It could be a simple thing like breakfast. Our vishayas are not like, Indra's vishaya or anything. It could be simple thing. A thought will come and say, what am I going to eat now for breakfast? That will make us get up from nididhyasana. First of all, it might not allow us to sit only in the beginning. But that a sadhaka should cultivate, saying that before doing my nididhyasanam, I will not eat. Some simple niyama like that. Viragaha, vijitendriyaha. Kamadeva is waiting. When different vishayas are waiting to enter through these sense organs. So Vijitendriya is the one who is able to keep all the sense organs withdrawn. And this is where the asanam and finding a place, sitting in one place, all of that will be helpful because they are naturally controlling our indriyas. If I'm sitting, that means padendriya is locked down. In some asanas, they even lock, the feet so that even the feet cannot move. And if your hands are interlocked like this, so your hands are not moving anywhere, still there will be some thought, something is bothering here, something is bothering there. Hand will try to go, being very mindful, right? Only with this practice, this mind and our sense organs will again come back to wherever they are. And not being too self-condemning also. Means by, let us say for some reason, you are very fidgety while in meditation. Know what is the right thing to do and give yourself sufficient time. Otherwise, that can become another frustration. Oh, I cannot meditate, I cannot sit. He said, take whatever support you want and start from that point. And the best way is form of Bhagavan. Look at Bhagavan and just sit in one place for some time. Speak to him if you want. Eyes open, eyes closed, doesn't matter. So we should start. But this meditation is Vedantic meditation, where it is expected that sadhakas are able to at least sit down and bring their attention to the teaching. What should I do in this meditation? Say bhavayet. Bhavayet means chintayet. General meaning of the word bhavana is emotion, right? So Vedantic meditation is not about having emotion towards something, that I am Brahma, I am all. It is not an emotional statement. Bhavayet means chintayet. Think of it precisely in this way. What should I think about? Bhavayet ekam atmanam. Think about the nature of that Atman, which is one without a second. That Atman I am. Think about indicators of that Atman. Now, where will I go to find indicators of Atman? Go back to that verse, what we just saw, right? 34th, 35th verse. All of them are indicators. So when I say I am Atma, the meaning of that statement is I am Nirguna, I am Nishkriya, I am all-pervading, I am Asanga, those thoughts should come. What about other thoughts? They also keep coming. Then the next line comes, next quarter comes. Tam anantam ananyadhihi. Tam anantam ananyadhihi. That ekam atmanam, which is anantam, that atma which is infinite, that you meditate upon. How should you meditate? Ananyadhihi. Our mind in general is anyadhihi. Means one thought we cannot hold on to for a long time. If we can, it's a great blessing. It's a great ability Bhagwan has blessed us with. If we are able to hold on to one chain of thought for an extended period of time. One of the sadhanas, especially in speaking, right, is to look back at where you started speaking and where you are right now. Going backwards. Okay, so right now we are Vivikta Desha Asina meditation practice. So if I ask, where did we start our class with? Oh, class, it was so long ago, 45 minutes ago. But if we are able to go back, right, how did we come to this topic? Because meditation, Acharya Ji is explaining. And before meditation, we saw how we should be able to understand Nirguna and Sadguna. Because the previous verse had spoken about Sarva Samaha. So one can misunderstand Sarva Samaha. Does it mean that somebody is very insensitive? So that is where we started. We said if you are able to trace your thought linearly, front and back, that is called as Vichara. Vichara means what? Viparita Charanam. Opposite way you are walking. One of the meaning of Vichara is that, opposite direction you are walking. And you are seamlessly able to hold on to one chain of thought. And this quality is very helpful in Nididhyasanam, because at that time you don't have any book, you don't have any notes to refer to. So whatever we have understood for ourselves, that we should try to bring back again. Okay. So how am I Sarva Samaha? So that thought you bring back again. That I am Upadana Karanam. I am the material cause of this creation, including this mind. And I have not actually become anything else because I am Nishkriya, I am Nirvikara. So whatever has come out as an effect has to be only an appearance. That is why I am Sarva Samaha, I am Nisangaha. So sit in that way and meditate. And more Sanskrit words we use, more precise will be our thinking. English words are helpful, but it will bring a lot of vagueness. This I am telling with a lot of responsibility. Okay, not to just put one language up or down. If you just see the precision that Sanskrit words bring, only the basic words. We are not reading each and every. We are not elaborating everything in Sanskritam or anything, right? Just the key words we should be able to hold on to. So I hope this verse is clear. Vivikta Desha Asinaha Viragaha Vijitendriya. What is my name now? Not Soham, it should be Viragaha Vijitendriya. If I want success in meditation, this should become my identity. What should I do? Bhavayet ekam atmanam tam anantam ananyadhihi. Now next verse is a very important verse. We will just chant it. This verse will determine our conviction in Advaita Jnanam, or our clarity in Advaita Jnanam will come from this verse. Atmanyevakhilam drishyam Atmanyevakhilam drishyam Pravilapyadhiya sudhihi Pravilapyadhiya sudhihi Bhavayedekamatmanam Bhavayedekamatmanam निर्मलाकाशवत् सदा निर्मलाकाशवत् सदा आत्मन्येवाखिलं दृश्यं प्रविलाप्य धिया सुधीः भावयेदेकमात्मानं निर्मलाकाशवत् सदा. More we will see in the next session. There are some announcements regarding the timing and other details, so please stay back. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Is Nirvikalpa same as Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Can Nirvikalpa and deep sleep be compared? Vikalpa means, simple understanding of Vikalpa in Hindi you must be knowing, right? Options. This way or that way. Right? आपके पास क्या विकल्प है अभी? What are the options that you have? In Vedanta, Vikalpa means thoughts. Vrittis are also called as Vikalpas. Nirvikalpa means without thoughts. So one of the name of Atma is Nirvikalpa, what we just saw. And it is not that when thoughts are appearing, Atma has become Savikalpa. Atma is ever Nirvikalpa. Thoughts are only an appearance in consciousness. Consciousness alone is appearing as thoughts, just like that rope alone is appearing as snake, or you can say the snake is a mere appearance in that rope. So that is the meaning of Nirvikalpa. Nature of Atma is Nirvikalpa. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is being able to withdraw the mind into this knowledge. In Vedanta, Nirvikalpa Samadhi means that. And it is not something that we can do it out of self-effort. Meaning, I cannot say, I am practicing Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This point we had seen in Drishdrishya Viveka, right? We can practice Savikalpa when those samskaras are ripened and they are ready to give result. Nirvikalpa is a natural result of that. So we should just start our practice and sincerely try to quieten the mind, bring it back to this Tattva Chintanam. And it gives a lot of confidence if you are able to bring the mind to one particular topic, right? You feel that I can handle this mind. Can Nirvikalpa and deep sleep be compared? Nirvikalpa state can be compared to deep sleep. Because in deep sleep also there are no thoughts. But Nirvikalpa Samadhi is not the same as deep sleep. Because in deep sleep there is no knowledge. But in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is clear knowledge about I am Brahma. In deep sleep, Pramata or that Sukham which is there is unknown. I mean that joy of bliss of Atman, although it is reflected, because Pramata is not there, at that time it is as though it is unknown. But in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it is very well known. But primary difference, if you want to make between both of these, it is with respect to knowledge and no knowledge. Can you elaborate on how Brahman is present everywhere? I feel that I am localized to this body. Brahman being present everywhere is not a feeling. It is a matter of fact. First, it is a matter of fact because Upanishads are revealing this. And second, even through our logic, we can arrive at this point. So where is this entire creation recognized? This entire creation is recognized in our thoughts. And where are thoughts located? In consciousness. So in consciousness alone, thoughts appear. In thoughts alone, this entire creation appears. So in that way, it's a logical way of establishing the same thing, but it takes a lot of time to digest this fact. So what is the easier way? Start with this understanding that Bhagwan is everywhere. Andara Rama, Bahara Rama, Jaha dekho so Rama hi Rama. Right? So that is easier for us to understand, and it becomes more closer to us. Now, my Sharira is this one body. What is Bhagwan Sharira? Virata Rupa, this entire creation is Bhagwan's body. I have this individual mind. What would be Bhagwan's mind? You see, that total mind which is planning everything in this creation. Like I plan my day, this creation also plans its own day. But only thing is, day of Brahmaji is very long. There are so many yugas and kalpas and lot of calculation happens. But main thing is, if I can have devotion first and understand nature of my Bhagwan as all pervading, that will help me to own up this fact that Brahman is all pervading. Even if I understand this fact, Pancha Mahabhutas are all pervading. That itself is a great step. 5 elements, right? So in that way also we can look at it. In waking state, how can I differentiate between Brahmananda from the Ananda that comes and goes? Actually speaking, there are no two Anandas. Brahmananda alone gets reflected in this mind, and that alone we keep experiencing as that Ananda which comes and goes. Means, let us say I got some object, right? I wanted to buy a house and I finally bought it one day. Now that desire was there and it got fulfilled. Now there is Ananda experience in the mind. Vedanta wants to say that this Ananda did not actually come from the house. This Ananda was your own Swarupa, which became available to you because that agitating thought was quietened. So that is the difference between Brahmananda and Vishayananda. 15th chapter of Panchadashi is called Brahmanande Vishayananda. Means in Brahmananda alone, all Vishayanandas are experienced. And the point Vedanta is trying to make is, if Ananda is your own Swarupa and it is available to you just by purifying the mind, why go for that defective Ananda, which is coming and going and makes you so dependent upon an object? That is the whole part of sadhana. Reducing our dependence on object for sukham is one of the main siddhanta of sadhana. You are still depending on something, but it is much more purer, much more superior than Vishayas. Right? Like puja gives a lot of ananda. An elaborate puja that we do to Bhagwan, that gives a lot of ananda. Japa gives a lot of ananda. I'm depending upon Japamala, I'm depending upon the chanting. Here, so many dravyas I'm depending upon. So that ananda is of a greater quality and it will not make you dependent upon Vishayas. And then gradually make it even subtler. Meditation also gives a lot of ananda. If mind can settle down and you can directly contemplate on this teaching, you see that mind, even that practice of Nididhyasanam is very joy-giving. If you don't get to do Nididhyasanam, then mind feels something is incomplete. So in that way, less dependence on objects, this Brahmananda alone becomes available to us. If Brahman is everything, then what is the purpose of life and exhausting karma and all that we are doing? Purpose of life is to know that this Brahman you are. Brahman is everything is okay. Purpose of life is to know that that Brahman I am. And everything that I do in life should align with this particular goal. Karma yoga, bhakti, devotion to Bhagwan, dana, tapa, everything that I'm doing is to come to this point to know that I am Brahma. And we don't have to exhaust karmas. Karmas are exhausting us. They are making us exhausted just by constantly giving karma phalas. First of all, analyzing the nature of life. What is the thing that I am holding on to? Parikshanam, what it is said, right? Examining the impermanence of things. So that is what we should do while we are looking at the karma phalas that are coming our way. And then increase our desire for moksha. This desire cannot be just told to somebody or said, you should have desire for moksha. He said that doesn't work. The best way to inspire ourselves first for moksha is to analyze life. And if we need support, we should take it from Bhaja Govinda. That is where all different facets of life are analyzed. You say, even now, if you don't get Vairagya, hey, read it again. Nothing wrong. Bhagwan doesn't say better luck next time. He just says, again, let us start reading from the first thing. But let us pay closer attention to things. Okay. Why would I am Brahman be called as Vasana? Isn't it the ultimate truth? That is correct. That's why I said Vasana, we should not take it in the literal sense. What it means is, it is just an anuvada. Anuvada means because we are familiar with certain vocabulary, Acharya also uses that so that knowledge becomes clear. Now, what is my concern? That I have so many vasanas that I have created for myself. And vasanas, nobody else can create for us. Unless we wanted to create for ourselves and we put forth effort in that repetitive cycle, nobody else can touch. So in the same way, Bhagwan Shankaracharya is using the same word for this aham brahmasmi also. It is not repetition without thinking. Having understood the meaning, now repeatedly go on dwelling on that same meaning. Because the process of repetition is similar, that is why Bhagwan uses the word of our vocabulary. He says vasana, you can call it as Brahma Vasana. Okay. Other two questions, I will try to see if we can include it in the next session. Okay, we won't have Q&A, but we'll just flow it along with the main text. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om.